Hi, I'm Anna Denton-Jones from Refreshing Law Limited, and in this third week of Knowledge November, I'm going to give a lawyer's perspective alongside some of the things that you'll have been reading about around the Health and Safety Executive's guidance on doing an across the organisation stress risk assessment and stress risk assessments in general. So to start with, I think if you are prepared to go down the road that the HSE suggest and look across the organisation, you've got to be prepared to unearth pockets of problems, maybe a department where job design is causing a problem, maybe a department where relationships, maybe even a difficult line manager are causing an issue, and unearthing that as part of the process, and of course being then prepared to do something about it. In terms of individual risk assessments, when somebody comes to you and presents perhaps with a GP certificate saying that they're unwell, I'm often surprised how few HR professionals, how few line managers are aware that the HSE do have their own stress indicator tool that is designed to help you in conversation with the individual at that point unpick what it is about the work situation that they are saying is stressful is actually causing the problem, using the same kinds of areas that we've looked at in terms of across the organisation, looking at things like demands and relationships and control over the working day and all of those sorts of things. It is, of course, possible to have your own version of these risk assessments. You might find that the HSE version, perhaps the language doesn't sit comfortably with you, and you might want to design your own version. It might have much more simple questions on it. So for example, you might ask somebody to rate a particular statement such as, I have enough work to do, or I don't have enough work to do, because of course not having enough work can also be a form of stressor. If you do go down the road of having your own stress risk assessment, I wouldn't suggest that you just give that document to the employees for them to fill in and come back to you on. I think the real value with these things comes in talking them through with the individual. So you might ask them a question like, I have too much to do in the time available. And they might agree with that statement. What they're likely to do if you're having the conversation face to face with them about it is to start to expand on what they've just said. They might give you examples. They might even go off on a tangent and start telling you about something else and another thing that's happening. I often find when I'm speaking with people that quite often it's not the first few things that they tell me are the really important ones. Quite often it's what they tell me at the end of the conversation. It's that add-on right at the end where they just let something slip that actually tells me that that's really what's going on here, or what's really important in this situation. And you might find that happens when you're having this kind of conversation as well. Once we've got an idea what the things are that are causing the problem, that's when we can start to talk through what we might be prepared to do about it. And I like conversations that are genuinely two-way, where we're asking both parties to take responsibility for something. So what are we going to do as employer? And that's a really important question, I think, that the line manager can ask. What can I do to help? It's quite a straightforward question, but it's so important because it signals to the person that you matter, we care about this, we're prepared to put in time and effort. But also, what's the employee going to do differently? And that might be some really straightforward things as well. It might be something as simple as the employee agreeing they're going to get a decent night's sleep, or they're going to try and eat properly, or they're going to try and not drink so much, or they're going to try and get some fresh air and exercise. It might be basic things, but it's nice to see a plan coming out of a risk assessment that's got 2 columns on it, things the employer is going to agree to do and things the employee is also going to be accountable for. And it gives us something that we can then go back to and revisit and ask how it's going, etc., etc. I think one of the really important things is that line managers don't dismiss people's feelings. If they're saying that they feel stressed or that there's a problem, that they don't just sort of dismiss them and suggest they go away and do a to-do list or something like that, but that they actually do talk about the issue, that they have that conversation, that they do ask what they can do to help. And we've had a lot of discussion, haven't we, about slogans like it's okay to not be okay, and where somebody is saying that they are not okay, for us to allow people to be in that position and then to look at what support we can put around that. And that might mean them taking some time off work. It might mean that we need to refer them to occupational health. It might mean we need to get HR involved. But that it's not a hollow promise, because I think that can be really problematic, where employers say one thing, they might send out memes when it's National Mental Health Awareness Day or something, but actually when it counts, do they really do something for an individual? There is always going to be a challenge for managers, because people do have chaotic lives. Managers can't be wavers of magic wands and make everything okay for people, particularly outside of work. But what they can do is be focusing on what's going on in work and making sure that that is as less or least stressful as possible. Hopefully you found that useful. We will, of course, be talking about more things for the 4th week of Knowledge November around things we can do on a practical basis. If there are things that you have picked up along the way as tips that you find work, please do let us know, and we can start to circulate that information to other people. My email is adenton@refreshinglawltd.co.uk. Thank you very much.